there, Ida Hoe here. I am going to teach you tonight to make my favorite thing that I make with potatoes, mashed potatoes. And if you get lucky, you can hear my dog in the background as well. So the very first thing is you take about 10 potatoes. You wash them good, and you take them while they're wet, because the wet will help you with the next little project, and that is that you're just going to peel them. I like to put a bag on top of my counter and peel all the peels into it. That way I can just throw this bag away when I'm done. So I'm going to take care of that right now. I'm going to peel these, and we'll show you more in just a minute. Hi. So we're going to one last potato. While I peel this potato, a couple things to know. One, get a good peeler, invest in it. This particular peeler comes from Pampered Chef, who makes some awesome products. If you need contact information there, let me know. If not, just find them online. The other thing I would tell you is that the best potatoes for a mashed potato, in my opinion, are a russet Burbank, and the best russet Burbanks come out of Ida Hoe. And if you can find Ida Hoe russet Burbanks when you're making mashed potatoes, you'll have what I think are the best potatoes ever. So, but that's, there are people who disagree with me, and they can have their opinion. That's okay. The other thing to tell you is that don't try to get rid of all the little teeny brown eyes. That's what it's called, this little spot. Those are eyes. You're never going to get rid of all those without a whole lot of work, so don't worry about that. So once you've got the peels done, you're going to go ahead and just take this bag and put it in your garden, just like that. Okay. Now the next thing is to make sure you got a good tight pot. And we're going to take the potatoes, and we're going to cut them up. Now, we're going to cut them into about 1-inch cubes. The other thing we're going to do, and I saw this as I did it, and I saved it so I can show you. Sometimes you're going to get a surprise, and there's going to be gross stuff. Just go ahead and cut that off and toss it away. Don't put that in your potatoes, okay? Then you're going to be okay, and you'll have potatoes. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to slice the potato. This one's going to be in basically 4 pieces, and then I'm going to cut each of those into some cubes. I'll do that with each of these potatoes. Once I get those all done, I'll put that in the pot, and we'll be back in a few minutes, okay? All right. So now those are all cut up in about 1-inch size squares. Now, I have another little secret. When I make mashed potatoes, I add 3 or 4 peeled cloves of garlic into the pot. I like the flavor it helps provide. And then I walk over here to the sink, and I'm going to fill this up with water just over the top of the potatoes, and then I'm going to salt the water. You want the water to be nice and salty, and then it's going to go on the burner, and you're going to bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, you will turn it down and just let it cook. It takes a few minutes for it to do that. So here we are, we're on. I'm going to add water. Not water. I'm going to add salt. Okay. And it's on. And we're going to let that do its thing. Once it starts to boil, I'll put a lid on it. Let it cook until the potatoes are fork tender. That means I can put the fork in, and it goes right in and maybe even falls apart. And that's the way we want them. And we'll go. Join you back when that happens. Well, hey there. So we've got these potatoes. They're all fork tender, like we talked about when you last saw me. And now, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take 1 entire stick of unsalted butter. I like to control the salt in my things, and not have somebody else do it for me. So I'm going to put 1 stick of butter in there. Then I'm going to take my potato masher. I love this one from Pampered Chef because I can fold up and go in the drawer. So you find whatever you have. And we're going to mash the potatoes with this stick of butter in here. The heat will melt the butter, obviously, and loosens the potatoes up, and we get this yummy mix of potato and butter, which is pretty good. You want to get it nice and mashed up. We're breaking down it into lumps this way, not completely the way you want it for mashed potatoes, but that's pretty good. Now, and remember that we had garlic in there. I did not take that garlic out. It's still in there, and it's just getting mashed up. I like to add pepper, and I like to have freshly ground black pepper. So I go ahead and do that. And that's to taste, so do what you need to. And then we're going to add just a little bit more salt. And we're going to mash that in. Now, I have 1 cup of heated cream. This is nice and fattening and yummy. Some people use milk. I use cream because it's better. We're not going to add it all at once. We're going to add some of it in. And we're going to go ahead and keep mashing. So that goes into the potatoes. And I know that a lot of you have probably already your own way of making mashed potatoes. And if you're happy with it, keep it. That's great. If you're not happy, if you go to Thanksgiving and you make mashed potatoes and there are leftovers, something's wrong with your mashed potatoes. And you might want to try my method, because there aren't leftovers when I make mashed potatoes. I can tell you that right now. Now we're going to add the rest of the cream. And that is heavy cream. Okay. And again, you want that to be hot when it goes in here, so that it will not cool down the potatoes. If you put it fresh out of the fridge, it's going to make your potatoes cooler than you want them to. And you don't want to do that. And you're just going to keep mashing this until you get the consistency that makes you happy. I like to have lumps in my potatoes. I don't want them so smooth that they're, well, not yummy. So you do it until you get the consistency you want. If you want, you can use an immersion blender and get them even smoother. This is about where I like them. They come off that. And I would now put them in a bowl and serve them. Let me show you what I mean. I mean, you know what I mean, but I'll show you how pretty this will look. We're going to scrape them out right into this beautiful bowl using tools I got when I used to sell Pampered Chef. As a fair disclaimer, I do not now, but I did. Look at those mashed potatoes. There you go. Mashed potatoes for a family of 5, if they eat like my family.